Now that we quickly move forward, our next topic for the moment is why the world watches crime dramas, Delhi Crime and beyond. I think we all love crime thrillers, and I think Delhi Crime has to be one of the best that we have seen so far. I would like to call up on stage Kamal Mukherjee, journalist, author, biographer, columnist, and filmmaker, donning multiple hats at the same time to moderate this session going forward. He will be joined by Tanya, Bami, series head Netflix India, Tanuj, Chopra, director, Delhi Crime Season 2, Shefali, Shah, actress, Delhi Crime Season 2. The cheers speak for itself, don't they? Thank you so much. Over to you, Kamal Mukherjee.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Since we have a timer and it says 29 minutes 47, so we need to just start. Welcome. I'm very, very excited personally because Delhi Crime Season 1 is my favorite show, and I'm sure it's a resounding thing for you guys because the whole India must be saying the same thing. And now we have Season 2. So I would like to first start with Tanya only, that since 2020, since setting a benchmark with a show like Delhi Crime, getting nominated at Emmy, which was the highest of its thing to happen. Yes, हम आत्मनिर्भर हो चुके हैं, कर सकते हैं हम. So from there, what was the reason for you to take so long to come up with Season 2? On a lighter note, did Netflix find too many crime stories too interesting happening in India to pick one on, or there was some other reason?
Hi everyone. So yes, we are extremely excited about Delhi Crime Season 2. I think it is exciting. It's a huge responsibility. It is just another, it's not just a title. It's very, very personal to us as Indians, as Netflix India. And I think there's just the amount of responsibility that puts on us, and this fabulous team have delivered amply, so if I may say so myself. We're very, very delighted. We were talking earlier, Tanuj and I, and he said something which I think is going to stick with me, and I'm going to rob it. I'm really sorry that creating art takes time and it's messy. So I think add to that a pandemic, and that will sort of sum up why it took 3 years. Experience it, and I think you'll feel every single moment and every minute effort that has gone in from both of these excellent, excellent content people into that, series. It's delightful and edge of the seat and gratifying, many things.
That's superb. But Tanuj, I would like to ask you, as the creator, as the director of this show, that when you start Season 2 of a successful series, what is it that plays in your mind as a creator, one? And do you, of course, come along with the pressure of delivering it better than Season 1 always? So how does it function, and how did you kind of deal with it?
First of all, thank you, everybody, for being here. It's a pleasure. Good question. Look, everybody, there's pressure on the show, but you know how hard it is to get a show on the air with the first season that everybody connects to the characters. That's very difficult. It's much easier to take something over that works. So when I approach the show, you look at everything that works on the show and you see, how do I keep it intact? How do I keep our style, our visual style, the language, the performances, the characters, the backstory, and how do you grow it from there? In terms of pressure, I mean, I get this question a lot, but we're not solving world hunger here. We're not curing cancer. It's a TV show, so there's pressure, but let's be let's take it down a notch a little bit. There's opportunity with this show. More than pressure, there's an opportunity to make this show go on and make it even better and see where these characters go. The pressure, I think, was on the first season.
Which is so true. And now coming on to the star performer of Delhi Crime 1 and now season 2, Vartika. So Vartika ji, welcome back. तो आप इस बार क्या कर रही हैं इस सीजन में और आपका परिवार कैसा है और दिल्ली शहर कैसा है?
परिवार ठीक है, बेटी अब यहाँ नहीं पढ़ती और मेरी टीम उतनी ही स्ट्रॉन्ग है जितनी पहले सीज़न में थी और दिल्ली हर शहर की तरह अच्छा भी है बुरा भी है. We are trying to fight crime, but then the fact is that there are people trying to fight crime. There are two contradictories in the same statement. So yeah, overall, yahi hai. That was the question, no?
Yes. I also wanted to know, Shefali, from you particularly, because I know you're very meticulous about whatever you pick on, whatever you do. So when an actor says yes to a series, so for example, Delhi Crime, and you see that it's successful, so when there is a pressure or a demand of season 2, as an actor, what plays in your mind first that, okay, so I have to now again go back to the character, live that character, make it believable, reconnect with my audience? Do you have all these sublining pressure as a performer that क्या मैं फिर से connect कर पाऊंगे वैसे? क्या कुछ और try करूं? क्या कुछ और route से इसको experiment करके देखूं? ये जो एक फिल्म में आपको ये मौका नहीं मिल सकता है शायद से.
So पहले तो जब season 2 की बात हुई for Delhi Crime, I was very, very excited. I mean, it's amazing. And like Tanuj didn't use the word which he normally uses, we have a legacy given to us. And we're going to take it forward from here and see where it's going to grow. As far as pressure is concerned, well, मुझे हर shoot के पहले, हर shooting day के पहले बहुत pressure होता है. I am terrified. I go there scared कि director action बोलेंगे और मुझे कुछ भी नहीं आएगा. That is my constant fear. It is actually like that. Or as far as Vartika is concerned, Ram, what happened with Delhi Crime and Vartika was unprecedented. I did not expect it. और जब दूसरे season की बात आई, that time it was like a fitur and it was like, yes, of course. I mean, yes, she's my favorite character. I'm obsessed with Vartika. But फिर ये ख्याल आया कि पहले season में जो हुआ वो हो गया.
Exactly.
How do I match up to that? I mean, how do I get back into those shoes? They become way too big.
Correct.
But I think I'm possessed with her. Yeah. Also, जो grain है as a person, that's intact in her. But like everybody else, रोज situation बदलती है और हमारे reactions to every situations बदलते हैं. And it's a day-to-day progression. It's a day-to-day growth. So I think all that is a part and parcel of doing a season 2, but I take great pride in it, to be associated with something like this.
Yes, absolutely, and everybody is waiting eagerly to kind of binge watch this show, and I guess it has been the most binge watched show in season 1, and season 2 will also live up to that expectation. So my question is to you that when you picked on this particular crime case, what was the process, and how do you creatively pick on कि हम इस बार इसको करेंगे, क्योंकि season 1, if I'm allowed to say, was loosely based on a Nirbhaya case. Season 2, we don't know so clearly that what are we dealing with. So if you could just highlight little about the plot and how did the channel, and being the head, being the creator, you decided upon that, okay, this is what should be the subplot in season 2.
Yeah, I think, just the genre of crime is so loved on Netflix कि जब भी हम second season सोचते हैं, we think of, like Tanuj rightly said, what is it जो season 1 में, what the audiences loved, उसको कैसे retain करें. But एक बहुत बड़ी responsibility है that for season 2, we have to take a leap. आगे बढ़ना है. So our attempt is to sort of be in the zeitgeist. क्राइम स्पेसिफिकली आई थिंक ऑडियंसेस को क्यों पसंद आता है पसंद आता है क्योंकि you're sometimes the detective, you're sometimes the victim. I hope nobody is the perpetrator, but sometimes maybe you're thinking like that. You're also, crime gives you a great understanding of your world, your environment. हमारे आसपास क्या चल रहा है, लोग कैसे सोच रहे हैं. Historical cases के बारे में पता करने की कोशिश करते हैं लोग. So I think there are some of these factors, and because हम लोग काफ़ी crime करते हैं, like just if you look at 2022, we started 2021 ended with Aranyak, which is one genre of crime. We had House of Secrets, Burari, that's another genre. Ye Kali Kali Aankhein is pulp crime. And now we have Delhi Crime Season 2. So हम बहुत अलग formats, genres, etc. में इस particular genre को experience कराते हैं लोगों को. So the idea is to be distinctive, to have a story, that is propulsive. जो लोग edge of the seat nature जो बोलते हैं crime का, वो होना चाहिए. But I think सबसे ज़्यादा जो इस season में है वो है relevance. बहुत relevant themes हैं. For example, the vulnerability of senior citizens, or really criminal profiling. These are some of the themes, and of course I think most pertinent जो जिस बात की conversation होनी चाहिए is the class divide, the दो दिल्ली that exist within the Delhi. And I think all of these themes come together. I always feel कि एक जो series होती है, it should not just entertain, it should not just be an experience in the moment. It has to leave you with something to think about, something to talk about that enriches your thought process and your conversations. And I'm very happy to say with Tanuj's efforts and the way Shefali has sort of fulfilled the nuances जो उन्होंने लिखे हैं वर्तिका के लिए, I think it is, all of these promises are there. We are waiting for it to launch.
Superb. Tanuj, as she just mentioned that Delhi में दो दिल्ली हैं, and we were chatting just few minutes ago, and आपने ये बताया कि आप इंडिया से नहीं हैं लेकिन आप इंडिया में आते हैं. तो मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है, I'm asking you in Hindi, you don't have to answer in Hindi because we had this joke just now, but मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि you are from US, but you come and you stay in Punjab and in Delhi and etc. So when an Indian creator who is stationed in a different country visits Delhi, sees Delhi, is it a different vision through which you see, a different lens that you use to see your own country? Because even, when we saw Delhi Crime Season 1, the way you captured Delhi is completely different from the million directors who are, making films in Delhi or around Delhi. So this time in Season 2 also, do you see it in a different light? Do you have a different perspective of seeing the city?
Delhi mera second ghar hai. Let me say that first. I've gone to Delhi almost every summer of my life. Grandparents, their sisters, brothers. I've grown up partying in Delhi. I've grown up working in Delhi, making films. So it's a city I have a familiarity with. It's not a city for everybody, to be honest. It's a tough city. Log thoda gussa hai.
Thoda?
बहुत गुस्सा है और लोग बहुत अकल है though, very smart people. There's great art, but it's a challenging city. I don't know about insider outsider lens. I think it helps the show, but I think it's filmmaking sensibility that comes in a little bit more than the lens for me, because I think Delhi Crime requires a documentary sort of handheld, free-flowing style.
Exactly.
And as a filmmaker, that is a hard thing to master. That takes practice, that takes a lot of failure, that takes a lot of building those skills. So sometimes that lens you see is not just an outsider's lens, it's a certain filmmaking lens. And I think that's the IP of Delhi Crime. That's what was established in season 1 with Johan and this free-flowing documentary movement. And I think that's the lens that feels most different in this season to me. I think Shefali and Rajesh Talang and Rasika and all of our actors bring all the authenticity to the show. I'd let them guide me, you know. These are, I mean, this woman can do anything, to be honest with you. So I don't have to.
Me.
I don't have to think after a certain point.
No, you're absolutely right. And I also feel that Shefali can do anything. She's like a superwoman in disguise, which we all believe. So coming on to Shefali, is that it's a very tricky question though, that in season 1 also we saw that you are completely focused in the case. You are completely gung-ho about getting this criminal, nabbing him by the collar. But at the same time, there is a very human side of Vratika, the cop. And you're saying that season 2 is going to elaborate more on the human side of the cops. We as citizens, we have this habit of police karti kya hai? Hamare liye, kuch nahi. This is the attitude that we have. It takes time to change. Maybe once in a while we see Singham and we stand up and we salute, or we have our 15th August and 26th Jan to say thank you to them. But overall signal pe ye ho raha hai, crime ho rahi hai, police kya kar rahi hai? घर से पैसे निकल के चोरी हो गई तो पुलिस क्या कर रही है? तो ये पुलिस क्या कर रही है कि जो सवाल है ये हर पुलिस ऑफिसर को झेलना पड़ता है. And then they have a family. So the pressure at work level cannot be matched with any other profession that we know under the sun. So when you play a character, and that too a woman cop, who needs to also balance the house, fortunately or unfortunately because of the Indian societal structure, a Singham doesn't have to really care about the daughter. But Vratika might have to take care of the daughter if the daughter is in trouble. How do you deal with that?
Vratika doesn't have to take care of her daughter, she chooses to take care of her daughter. The family that she comes from, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to repeat this line again every time.
Tali wala
So I
line.
get clapped for it. No, also, luckily, in season 1, when you see the family that she comes from, her husband, he's from the force and he's extremely supportive.
Correct.
So that is one part of it. We'll go by, you asked many questions now.
Yeah, I'm saying that, you know, as a cop, how does one, when you're playing a role of a cop, how does you balance it? Like, you know, your professional life that you're seeing on the screen, and the softer side, like what you're saying, that we are going to get to see more of the human side of the cops in the story.
In the first, I can, you know, actually demarcate 1 and 2 very clearly. Because 1, she was just obsessed with getting these guys. There was no wavering of moral compass. These are the bad guys, I'm going to get them. That is what it was. She had anger, angst. She also knows she had the ability to do something about it, and she does something about it. In season 2, it's kind of different. 1, when the show itself begins, you realize that she does this every day. It doesn't mean she's not driven. It just means that she sees this every day. So she has to distance herself and not be so affected personally, otherwise she's going to be destroyed. And the way she looks at it is, the damage is done, what is the damage control I can do? That is the way she approaches it. But in season 2, there is a lot of internal dilemma. It's not as simple as, ye kharab hai, inko pakadna hai. It's really not as simple as that. There's a lot of dilemma. She's left to question. So I keep saying this in my interviews. Delhi Crime 1, Vartika became hero. In Delhi Crime 2, she's human. She falters, she makes mistakes, but she doesn't shy away from apologizing or acknowledging it and correcting it, even if it's putting herself at risk. Also, the question you asked that we blame cops. I think somewhere we're trying to find some shoulders to put that responsibility on. And it's not just about cops. If somebody is unwell terribly, you put that responsibility on doctors.
True.
Any kind of profession and in life, there is good, there is bad. There are some people who are extremely diligent and give their life for what they do, and there are certain people who don't. The same goes for cops, So like in the first one, they all went out and they got it right. In the second one, that's the intention, but there are hiccups. There are times they falter, but they correct it. And I don't know whether DC changed that perspective, but it changed the perspective for me. Because I remember जब निर्भया हुआ था, सब लोगों में गुस्सा था, बहुत दुख था, और there was a cry for help, and there was a cry that everyone had, was why is no one doing anything about this, including me. When I read the script, I was shocked and I felt secured. I felt there was somebody doing something about it, and what a full circle to come that it was a woman. So it's like there are people fighting for our security. And not just about crime. I mean, we saw it during Corona. They put themselves at risk and put themselves out there as front warriors.
Absolutely right, Shefali. Coming on to probably the last segment of this wonderful chat is, I'd like to ask that overall, why do you think that crime as a genre works most on OTT or on digital platform compared to a rom-com or a biopic or a sports series or any of the other genres available in the rack, in the shelf? Why crime works more?
So, during the pandemic, we saw the leading genre on Netflix that audiences were enjoying was comedy. And with just like a marginal percentile, like decimal percentile difference was crime. So I don't know if we can say that, audiences are polarized, कि या तो crime देख रहे हैं या comedy देख रहे हैं या romance देख रहे हैं. हमारे लिए, I think the amount of, titles that we are putting out for our members, the amount of content that we want them to enjoy, the diversity of stories. We recently launched Darlings. Today we've done the date announcement for Jamtara. Mismatched is coming. So we're very excited about the diversity, but at the same time, we're very excited about Delhi crime coming. For us, it is really ensuring that, how do we make every night a Netflix night? We have a wide range of titles across films, series, unscripted series, pay one titles that we launch, I think, with great amount of velocity. There's variety and there's lots of value that we give to our members. But yes, there's no ignoring, if agar aap history dekho Netflix ki, some of the most loved shows are the crime shows, whether they're Indian like Delhi Crime or Money Heist. There is a crime sort of, quotient to it. Like I said, I think crime mein itni variety hoti hai that it sort of keeps you at the edge of your seat. It keeps you guessing and engaged. It's like a game show. You're sort of saying, isne kiya, usne kiya, nahi, ye inhone galat step liya. So there is that quotient. And then there is that whole thing of pulling back and saying, this is the situation, these were the characters, this is our environment. Because I think true crime especially is is such a reflection of our times. हमारे life के बारे में है, हमारे situations के बारे में है, कि अगर हम Delhi Crime Season 2 में अगर 2 दिल्ली की बात कर रहे हैं, अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं कि our senior citizens are vulnerable, that is crime actually being committed by the haves or the have-nots, and what is really the dynamic between that? I think those are the deep conversations, like to Shefali's point earlier. Those are the conversations that crime can help us have. And, I think beyond that, a good story is always as good as its characters. And when I speak about Delhi Crime Season 2, I feel this year, this is the OG Delhi police force. and they are back, and you love them. And I think we have to take away the burden of making the police the superheroes. They are human. You see them as people who are fighting crime, and they're also reacting to crime like all of us would. And it is how they handle that dilemma, I think, or those situations, or those moments, and how do they do their job and be, human beings who are sort of true to themselves. And I think that's the opportunity that a dynamic crime story offers you.
Superb. What's your take on people watching crime?
I think people watch OTT on their phones. They watch it home in their rooms. There's something about absorbing yourself in the darker nature of humans in that environment. You're able to do it in your safety of your room. And then the simple episodic nature of OTT really lends itself to crime as well. Crime is a genre that keeps you engaged. The viewer is always trying to solve the mystery. And you get to the end of the episode, and there's a cliffhanger that increases the mystery. It's like crime novel, a crime series of books. It's just the modern version of that today with OTT. And there's something about the way episodic breaks down that is a nice marriage with a viewer's spectatorship with crime.
So as a maker, when you're making like particularly this Delhi Crime 2, season 2, is your treatment different from the kind of other Indian directors they're making content on Netflix itself? Is it different? How do you evaluate your way of telling a narrative?
I don't know. You tell me.
He's true to the genre.
I think
this show for me is a love letter to Delhi, and I've made the show for audiences in Delhi and audiences in India in my heart, and I think as much as it can take from what's been built, that's where my heart is with this show. It's for India.
And definitely, and Vartika is obviously one of the most loved character as far as web series, as far as Delhi Crime is concerned. And we have seen the kind of reaction that we got in season 1, and I'm hoping that it's going to get better with season 2. So now that it's out there and audience are waiting to kind of watch and judge, as an actor, are you still having those butterflies in your stomach, or you're pretty confident this time that no, it's an accepted character, it's a loved character, so I'm pretty chilled? So in movie, it doesn't happen like that. It's every movie is a new movie. Every time you have a different character. But when a character is established, a character is already loved, does that really take away the tension of an actor?
No.
From the release?
So. No, I don't think so. It doesn't take away the tension because, like I said, one is that an actor is as good as the story. We are all working together to create one project, and the victory or the failure does not depend on one singular person. It's a cumulative effort. I'm as good as my team is. And in fact, when you've done something that has been so loved, I think the thought that, what if I don't stand up to it again? That's a fear. And, it works both ways. It's the credibility that comes with it and the love and the respect. At the same time, you might be put under a bigger scrutiny because of a certain legacy that unknowingly you've created. And I'm extremely nervous. I normally do not get nervous. I do not, for me, creating the whole project is the high point of doing something. So after that, I don't care kahan, kya, kab, kaun dekhega. And people are, art is subjective. Everyone has a point of view. Not everyone has to love or hate something. But I'm really nervous for this. And I'm extremely proud of what we've created. Extremely proud. And the only reason, I want to say this right now, the only reason I'm nervous is this one. You know, like Tanuj said earlier, it's not a competition between 1 and 2. It's really not. The point is not trying to become DC1. The point is creating something which is equally powerful in its individual entity. And I can proudly say, or I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. I think the audience also needs to give it its fair chance and look at it in separation. Of course, I mean, the grain and the root of DC and the soul of DC is always going to be there. The characters are there. But it's a different creator. It's a different case. And, you know, there is growth. One growth is where a tree grows from here to there. And one is where it spreads out. I think DC is that kind of growth.
Absolutely, and I'm so hopeful and I'm so sure that audience will also love Delhi Crime Season 2 because it is one of the most talked about show, loved show, and you have a star, Shefali, Shah, who is kind of taking this entire show on her shoulder. So give it her.
I have to correct that. I'm not the only one who's taking this on my
the
shoulder.
entire team. I have the entire
an amazing
team. Obviously,
team.
as she said that you cannot make movie, web series, anything without your team. So definitely we have an amazing team putting up real hard work for 2 years, for almost 2 years, and it's out there for you to kind of watch, love, and definitely judge. But थोड़ा प्यार से क्योंकि दिल्ली क्राइम है, so दिल से करना.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ram.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
It was
you, everyone.
lovely.
Thank you so much.
As Kamal Mukherjee just now mentioned, crime नहीं है यहाँ पे, प्यार मोहब्बत से. So please, can we have more loud of cheers, please? To present the mementos for the session, may I please call up on stage Siddharth Laik, founder and editor-in-chief, IWMBuzz. Lovely smiling faces, lovely hugs.